Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Kaelaris, the host of the PMWL East, and I am here to give you a recap of everything that has not only gone down throughout the last Super Weekend, but also everything that went down in the previous phases to that as well. So, first things first here, let's take a look back at how everybody was able to qualify through into our first Super Weekend. This is our first playing days where we had all of the teams vying for points to try and qualify into that first Super Weekend. You can see to the very top, we had Orange Rock Esports as well as Biggitron Red Aliens take the first and second spots. Now, we're anticipating these two teams to be going head to head for quite a while when it comes to the PMWL East. So to see them do so well, so successfully in that first couple of days leading into the first Super Weekend was very telling indeed. Let's take a quick look as well down further here for our 11th through 20th, because that will be showing as well who was unable to qualify into our first Super Weekend. The four teams down towards the bottom in grey, You Level Up, Freestyle, Nova Godlike, and Morph Team, unfortunately, were not able to qualify into that first Super Weekend, which means they're going to have 0 points to potentially qualify them through into that grand final in a few weeks' time. But don't worry, they are going to get another opportunity to try and qualify into Super Weekends in the coming week. That left us with our 16 teams, and this is how things shaped up across our 3 days here for our Super Weekend. So, there is a bit of a story to tell when you look towards You Do Gank. They started off the Super Weekend with 3 wins in a row, an unprecedented feat when it comes to the quality of the lobby that you're seeing right in front of you. Great stuff by them, absolutely blasting out of control. 95 points across those 3 games. However, from there, it was a rocky and tumultuous road as all of the other teams started to gather steam, gather momentum, and push themselves further with more consistency. Number 1 eventually went to RRQ Athena as they were able to break the 200-point mark, and they were consistent not only with how many kills that they were able to accrue throughout some of the games, even when they were going out early, but then this chicken dinners started coming in, and that was big points overall. Biggitron took second place here, so they were able to get themselves in the money. And then at the very last moment, after, again, consistent performances coming out from GXR Celts, they got themselves a chicken dinner in the final game of the Super Weekend. And it was a phenomenal game down towards Military Island. It came down to a 1v1. You want to go back and watch that game because it was a phenomenal finish. Let's move to our 11th through 16th as well here, as we have all of our teams trying to gather as many points as possible to try and gain what they can to eventually contribute to qualifying into the grand final here for the PMWL East. We have T1, Valdus the Murder, Team Secret, Reject Scarlet, TSM Entity, and No Chance Team. So even though they've come in the lower places here for our first Super Weekend, it doesn't matter a huge amount just yet because they're gaining the points, the important points, to try and move through into that grand final. So that's how everything shaped up in our Super Weekend. There's so much more to look back. So if you actually did miss those games, you do want to go back and watch a lot of them. They were very good indeed across all of the battlegrounds. But now we can take a look at one of the teams that was really stand out throughout not only the Super Weekend, but also the previous phases of play, the seeding days, as well as the days coming into our first Super Weekend. Of course, it's Biggitron Red Aliens, the kings, as they are the complete package that we look at when it comes to a team. No surprises here that they were able to take the top spot in terms of these stats. You've got Luxie, you've got Zuxi, you've got Ryzen, you've got Microboy. Every single one of these players is stand out, and you can only expect extra things from them coming into the upcoming weeks of the PMWL. So, and we're probably going to see a few of these names in a few moments' time as we take a look at our top 10 killers from the PMWL East. So, some great names here. Let's go through a few of them. Let's start towards the bottom here. Of course, Zuxi, one of the twins down there with 37 kills. Extremely respectable indeed. And Scout and Ryzen also in some of those bottom names. Ernie likewise there up in these positions. But 2 names that really do stand out to me that are not quite in the teams that gained the very top spots are Break and Godless. Break for Box Gaming came in clutch in a lot of situations. Be it Vikendi playing spoiler through some some of his heal tactics into taking out megastars to actually holding down fortresses on things like Erangel. And likewise, Godless for No Chance team, despite No Chance team getting themselves a 16th place throughout the tournament for the Super Weekend, I should say, he's still able to put up the kills. Impressive stuff coming out by Godless. Now, let's take a magnified view at our top 4, because these guys were absolutely stand out when it comes to the PMWL East. We've got, in ascending order, Jill, Beer, Luxie, and G9 will take the top spot in terms of kills. It was close, very close indeed here, as G9, Luxie, and Beer vying for that top spot. And these names are star-studded when it comes to the PMWL East. So big congratulations to them if you're looking across this. G9, even when he wasn't getting the kills, he was pumping out so much damage throughout these games. Like, we were checking in with him midway through games, and all of a sudden G9 would have 850 damage. I'm like, where on earth did that come from? But kudos to him. G9 will take that top spot with 55, 53 for Luxie, 53 for Beer, and 51 for Gil. So great stuff overall. And that brings us nicely and neatly onto the MVP of our first Super Weekend here for the PMWL East. And of course, it is G9. And do bear in mind that throughout some of the earlier stages of our Super Weekend, G9 was a little bit behind in terms of kills relative to some of his teammates when it came to RRQ Athena. However, in the last day of our first Super Weekend, G9 played out of his mind and was able to step up, not only for his team to gain themselves that first place spot, but also for himself in terms of his numbers. So a big congratulations to G9. He is our MVP of Week 1 Super Weekend. So great stuff by him. I'm sure Avenger out there is somewhere very happy that RRQ Athena did so well. And ladies and gentlemen, that does it for this recap. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've taken on some information here. We will see you in our second week here of the PMWL East, as all of these teams are going to try and vie for that second Super Weekend. But for now, let's take a little look back at some of the best moments here from Week 1.